And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking a very interesting qualifying session where McLaren secured the front row. Will it be that easy in the race? I don't think so. But if Silverstone was very much a mixed race in terms of conditions, so was qualifying. So let's have a look at where everyone is, shall we? So we've got Lando Norris on pole position, Piastri second, Verstappen third, and all within like half a tenth of each other. It is so close. I've got some visual representation in a bit. Fourth is Carlos Sainz, top Ferrari. Ferrari doing a lot better than they have done in the last few races. Hamilton is fifth, the Silverstone winner. But you kind of have to be, I think, a tiny bit disappointed with just fifth. Bearing in mind how strong they were in Silverstone, maybe they'll come better in the race. Who knows? Leclerc sixth, I think disappointing for Leclerc. However, maybe he would have taken that, bearing in mind his whoops-a-daisy practice crash. Seventh is Alonso. Okay. Eighth is Stroll. Okay. Decent for both of them. The Aston Martin finally having, I think, a decent qualifying and quite clearly potentially the fifth quickest car, but having 7th or 8th is not too bad, and we'll see why they're 7th or 8th in a bit. Ricciardo and Tsunoda 9th and 10th. Well done, RB. Maybe not so much Tsunoda with the whoopsie. We'll get into his accident in a bit. Hulkenberg, I think that's about as good as you could have done, in 11th. Valtteri Bottas in 12th. Alexander Albon 13th. I think that was 13th and 14th, Logan Sargent. Well done to Logan Sargent getting so close to Alex Albon. You know, just over a 10th. What a very strong qualifying. Just as when people are saying Logan Sargent should exit the door, he's not doing too bad. At least I think he's now out-qualified Perez more than the other way around, which is slightly embarrassing. We'll get into that in a bit. 15th is Magnussen. Yes. 16th, there's Sergio Perez. Oh, Sergio. But I think he won't be as disappointed as George Russell out of qualifying. Yeah. What was that? What was that about? But to be fair, Lewis Hamilton nearly went out in Q2. He basically said they just didn't do enough. 17th, George Russell. Out. I was absolutely shocked. 18th Zhao, 19th Ocon and 20th Gasly. Both the Alpines making a mistake of not going out again, thinking it wasn't going to improve. With George Russell, I don't think it's all his fault. Mercedes didn't give him enough fuel to do another lap when it was clear that it was clear as day that the track was improving. Now, you could make an argument. George Russell shoulda, woulda, coulda. He should have done a better lap. And yet I do think it probably should have got him into the top. Should have got him into the top 15 at the very least. But alas, it didn't. So let's have a look though at the two major qualifying mistakes, shall we? First of all, I think let's have a look at Sergio Perez. Sergio, oh Sergio, wherefore out thy Sergio. I mean, this guy is having an absolute mare, isn't he? It is not good at all. I kind of, at this point, I feel for the guy. Should he still have a job? Maybe not. But here we come on Hungary. Now, what you'll see here, as you're looking to the right, we know it's been raining, and we know this from F1 games. The curbs can be very slippery when it's been wet, and that's exactly what happens, because as you can see here, he's pretty much fully on the curb. And then he just spins it around. He completely loses it, and yeah, he's going in backwards, and backwards he does go. And in the end, it all looks very, very messy, and it looks a bit like that, which is kind of unfortunate, really. I mean, destroying the advertising hoardings, etc. It's not particularly a good look for Mr. Perez, sadly. But then the issue, I think, with Sergio Perez is he keeps making these mistakes. He's got this 2-year contract. It supposedly has this clause in respect of to being 100 points within Max Verstappen. At this point, he's costing Red Bull money. He's costing Red Bull points and potentially costing Red Bull the Constructors' Championship. Now, I'm all for second chances, third, fourth, fifth chances, maybe not. However, if he comes good in the race and gets into the top 5, yes, it may take a miracle. But if he has an amazing race, then maybe it is back on and we see it again in Belgium. This is the big but, though. Everyone was really surprised when Sergio Perez made that extra contract, made that other contract. The but, I think, was that the rumours are that Sergio Perez signed the contract and they added a clause for this year saying you need to be, you think you're good enough for 2 years. Your new clause is to be within 100 points of Verstappen at the beginning of the summer break, which I think he probably would have taken come just before Canada, thinking, yeah, I can do that. We've got a good car. However, when you look at the fact that Logan Sargent has outqualified Sergio Perez more, Okay, let's get on to Yuki Tsunoda, who, coming round, just starting sector 2, goes on the curb and once again whoops a daisy. Yuki Tsunoda, the curb is wet. He gets on there and then he, as you can see in the next, he launches. I mean, it's quite dangerous, really, but he launches himself into the barrier, smacks the barrier, and at that point it's pretty much game over for Yuki Tsunoda. His fault, yes. But unlike Sergio Perez, they're both equally to blame. He doesn't make as many mistakes. And at this point, he'd already got through to Q3, and he was qualifying in 10th. So I don't really think you can knock him too much there. But there we go. That's pretty much by the by. So let's then have a look at let's just remind us of the top 10 and / the grid. We've got Norris in pole, Piastri in second, a McLaren front row, Verstappen in third. Fourth is Carlos Sainz in the top Ferrari. Fifth is the top Mercedes by a long way, and Lewis Hamilton. Sixth, Charles Leclerc. Seventh, Fernando Alonso. Eighth, Lance Stroll. Ninth, Ricciardo. 10th, Tsunoda, both the RBs at the back of the top 10, but solid result. 11th is Hulkenberg, I think about as good as he could have done. 12th is Bottas, not too bad in the stake car. 13th, Albon. 14th, Sargent, really, really good qualifying. 13th and 14th, you kind of think they probably, maybe could have got into that top 10. 15th, Magnussen, again out qualified by Hulkenberg. Then the disappointments are plenty here. Perez whoops a daisy in the wall. Q1, no. Russell, not fast enough, but once again wasn't fueled long enough. Also Mercedes' fault as well as Russell's. 18th is Zhou, 19th Ocon, and 20th is Gasly. Oh dear, the two Alpines just didn't bother going out and paid the price. So this is what Checo said. It hurts to let your whole team down, but at the end of the day, I am determined more than ever to get back. Let's hope you do, Sergio. Prove everyone wrong. Keep your seat. Have an amazing race. And then start again and reset in Belgium and show everyone that you can do it. Alternatively, if you don't, then you're going to have to start to question the future. This is the team sector ratings. As you can see, Red Bull strong in sector 1. Then it's McLaren in sector 2 and 3. And sector 1 is pretty much the straight line speed and in a couple of corners. And sector 2 and 3 is all about the corners. And McLaren seems to be very good in those medium corners. Everyone keeps saying that throughout the qualifying that Hungary used to be Monaco without the barriers. It's not anymore. It's a fairly not fast track, but a medium speed track. Ferrari second. I mean, Ferrari are up there as well. Ferrari look to be the third fastest car when you look at the sector times, and as they are, because with Lewis Hamilton fifth in a Ferrari sandwich. It's going to be interesting though what they do for the race. Now the Ferraris were saying they were eating their tyres in the cooler conditions because they set up their car for the race. So I think the race could be really interesting. And what can RB and Aston Martin do as well? Can Williams get in the points? All these questions. Can Bottas finally get his first points for stake? Who knows? Interesting stat here from lightsout.blog. If Lando Norris wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, it would be the first time since 1965 that 3 different British drivers have won 3 F1 races in a row. The last time was 65, Clark, Stewart and Hill. And that was, looks like Germany, Italy and America. Nice. We've got Russell, Hamilton, and if Lando Norris does win, yeah, I like it. This is and incidentally, talking about front rows now, the last time McLaren had a front row was Brazil, 2012. Hamilton's last F1 race for McLaren. Jenson Button's last win. Red Bull also started P3 in the guise of Mark Webber. And, well, if you look down below, you've also got Lando Norris on pole, Piastri, okay, a Commonwealth 1-2, let's say, with another Red Bull driver in third in Max Verstappen. This is a visual representation from the race of how close it was. How close. .022 and .046, essentially just shy of half a tenth, is for the qualifying gaps. That's close, isn't it? Imagine if the race finished that close. That would be something epic. And let's give Max Verstappen the last word, the guy in third. Some people's favourite to win the race. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins. I can't help but feel that unless McLaren have a really bad either offset with their tyres, which they probably couldn't do anything about at that point with the setup, and don't get out strategized, you'd like to think McLaren have the edge potentially going at least into the first stint. But it's going to be really interesting, and a lot is going to be on the tyre wear. A lot is going to depend on how McLaren can look after those tyres. Max Verstappen, he's quite critical of Red Bull. He said, I don't think everyone understands the situation with me. They know I don't make excuses. Maybe not everyone on the same wavelength. He said, I think that some people need to wake up a little. It's not bad at all, but if you want to become world champion, it has to go better than this. I can't feel he's throwing his dummy out the pram because he's third within a half a tenth. Now, Christian Horner explained he didn't go again. When Tsunoda had that crash, obviously we know there was that red flag. Max Verstappen did not go out again because they didn't have the tyres. Christian Horner essentially said it would be pointless, which kind of makes sense. And hey, it rained a bit and no one improved anyway, other than actually Daniel Ricciardo, who went from 10th to 9th. Because, he didn't really have a good first lap, did he, at all? I think he had a... Yeah. Anyway, I digress. So, who's going to win the race? Well, it's going to be a battle, I think, between McLaren and Red Bull. What could Ferrari do? Can they jump in on the mix? And what can Hamilton do? Also, it'd be really super interesting to see what Russell and Perez can do from the back. Subscribe. That'll make me very happy. And you won't miss a video. We'll speak to you soon.